right? No, the way he's been playing, but the last 2 games he hasn't had the same amount of success because it seems like Xuan has figured him out and gotten up the better of him with these lane matchups.
Oh, this I have to agree. In game 1, the lane matchup was really favored into the side of Balls Mayin into the Xuan Guanyu, and in the team fights it's also very difficult for Nova to play in game 1. That's why BIGETRON has such a strong force in terms of these objective controls, in terms of these high ground invades. These are things that allow you to push forward when you have a superior draft. And back in game 2 and game 3, things were much more easier for Nova because drafts were more equal and less one-sided.
Yeah, it's definitely been that case, right? I think that that's something to take kind of note of, right? I mean, if we're going into these series that are kind of going to go a little bit more of the distance, this is something where the draft and the execution, I mean, you might have that perfect draft in mind if we're talking like game 1, where everything is set up perfectly because you kind of know where Nova Esports likes to go in that game 1 draft. You have the perfect counter pick. But now, game 2 and 3 and on beyond, we got to figure this out, right? And you need to be prepared. And this is why Nova Esports, that experience, those guys that have been together for so long, you're kind of seeing that synergy play out.
It is. What you say practically makes full sense because it goes back to the opening of the show. Nova Esports only changed one player, which is Calling. BTR changed the entire roster except Zankyu. So it's jungle, but in a different way.
Yeah. And you're kind of seeing some of those effects, right? Where Zankyu hasn't had the greatest of time, but Kong Lin, I mean, he's just taken this situation, this positioning of understanding that Nova Esports, this is the 2nd place team from KIC, and just full out sprinting, right? This team has just been on fire with him. He's been able to kind of just take up the mantle that was left by CUI, and he's completely just turned it up to the next level.
That's what you need, right? In the modern world of HOK esports or any professional sports. When you are given an opportunity, you have to capture it and hold it clearly with your hands. God knows when is the next time that you're given an opportunity to join strong teams that could potentially rule the global scene, right?
Yeah. I mean, it has to be. You're in that situation. How many opportunities are you going to get, right? And if you were to fail here, what does that put you, right? Yeah, you might not have had the greatest of times, but when you are given those moments, and there are few and far in between in terms of this life, you got to take advantage of it.
Yep. These are the moments that's like, what are you training for? I'm training for that opportunity to make sure that when it comes, I grab it. The opportunities, you don't wait for them. You grab them when it's here. We're talking about the draft that we have on hand right now. We have a spicy one, brother. Look at the Jing into the Pei matchup.
Yeah, actually, this is going to be an interesting one, right? I mean, the Jing, and then you have the Chicha as well, the Mai, it's going to be high flying. So they're, BIGETRON are like, hey, let's be aggressive. Let's play our game and make sure that we're able to kind of, react to us. But Nova Esports, again, Kong Lin on the Pei, it's going to be dangerous.
Sun Bin? Where did Sun Bin come from? He's locked in!
He's locked in? Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
you
know where the Pei is going to potentially going, right? The stun from the Lapu, the time lapse is going to be a bit of an issue, and when you have that silence, it could be a bit of an issue for them. But the white anchor, and wow, Kong Min as well, so a lot more damage.
And we're definitely going to be seeing a Bai Chi ultimate weapon coming in from the final pick of BTR by Vitality. Hence, you see the preemptive pick of the white anchor coming in from the side of Xuan. This is a staple because the reason why you pick the Sun Bin is you want to have an unstoppable big raid boss tank with the spell time flux of the Time Bender, which allows Bao to be a pseudo carry, an unstoppable raid boss.
I mean, the pull is going to be real, right? Ball definitely likes this hero. This is something that they're going to go back to, and the amount of control that they have. But at the same time, if you're looking at what, like, the pull away, maybe you get Kong Lin's Pei, Wendy's Kong Min, you're able to kind of pull them. But they have some mobility, right? They have their own ways of getting out. Obviously, it comes back to just like the execution and those micro, moments in the team fights. But it's an interesting attempt at, solving this Nova Esports lineup.
It's a worry for me because on paper, it's like really good, but your roamer essentially is really, really weak against a Pei. meaning that
Yeah.
the Pei gets free reign on your jungle. He can have free access with the Lapu Lapu, with the Kong Ming that has extremely fast wave clear, and this Jing, yes, Jing's smite range is strong, but there is cooldown on the smite. So when the smite is down, you best believe Kong Ling will enter your jungle alongside with his mid and roll.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I'm trying to find a way to kind of to validate this in Bin. I think it's going to be tough, right? Even in the time flux, the heals that they might have, it's, you know what I mean? They're very squishy, right? So even having long sustaining fights, it's not going to be there. But I think it's more about getting into that speed, getting on. When you have a Mai and Jing flying at you and it can be potentially way faster, that might be the thought process here.
But who are you gonna go to? Kong Ming has a lot of
Enemy
mobility.
minions will arrive in
Direnjie
5
has a legal
seconds.
immunity to bail himself out of the knockups. We saw that, right? Back in the non-stream Red Force Blacklist series. When you jump on towards a Direnjie, you don't burst him immediately. He's one of the few marksmen that build semi-tank and can survive these sort of bursts. And opening of the game, we do see Kong Ling going in aggressive on towards this left side of the bush, trying to go for an aggressive invade.
It's not going to be. I'm not a huge fan of this invade pick. I mean, I don't know what they were really thinking, because if you're looking at the rest of Nova Esports, they just have so much mobility to kind of mitigate most of that. I mean, if he's able to get those time lapses, the perfect silence at the right moment, in the perfect positioning where Waypit's not able to get off his Raging Sea, maybe. I mean, the potential is definitely there, but the execution, we're going to have to see if it pays off.
If it scales towards the late game, the Sun Bin definitely pays off. They just need to hold.
Yeah.
Hold for dear life. That they get the late game here. That does go over to the hands of Muji here, so that's a bit of a sad outcome coming in for Genmit's full.
And also in the top lane here, Wendy is going to be up there with Xuan to ensure that they get the sprites. And reinforcements are on the way in the form of Zhang Q. So this is not going to be the easiest ones. And it looks like they're going to take that one, and the teleport is now open.
Zankyu's not level 4 yet. That's the cause and effect of what happens when your jungle gets invaded that early on towards the game. Kong Ling's already level 4, almost working his way towards 5 here. I would say this is going to be an important marker here later on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zankyu, like, getting any sort of slowdown and being able to keep on pace. He has not gotten Kong Lin's number aside from game 1. So this is a game, if BIGETRON are to have any sort of chance, he needs to pop off. He needs to get going. And so Nova Esports in the same way, you gotta limit what Zankyu brings.
Myth getting caught out here, has to use the Ryu Engine to escape towards safety here. Going in with the Mirror Domain, catches onto multiple members here. Kong Ling getting beat up to a pulp here, has to back away towards safety.
Yeah, backing off. I mean, the Mirror Domain was not in the greatest of spots to really kind of do enough. I mean, Kong Lin might just go for the steal. No, it looks like Zankyu did take it in the end. That was actually pretty close, though.
It was pretty close. There was no smite on the hands of Zankyu, and in any moment, if he does miss the spell 1 reset, that could have been going over to the hands of Wendy or Waypit.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster. But it looks like the winning strategy, connecting on a Gen Myth, he has to recall, do the Walk of Shame. But he's been zoned away, but he should be back in time for this mid-wave.
Okay, Zankyu here looking for a potential jump on towards Wendy here. Wendy has to respect the fact that Zankyu has the full health bar here, so taking a recall, have to do the Walk of Shame.
Yeah, he too will just walk slowly in that one. So I got Gen Myth right now and Zankyu, those are the guys to help speed up some of this farm here. Zankyu has kind of been falling behind. He's a level behind Kong Lin, who's just been, again, everywhere.
They're just putting so much pressure on towards Baal here. I think they have decoded Baal's playstyle and making sure that if Baal doesn't do well, he isn't able to do some of these big engages on towards the map like what he did just now with the Magi. And now, true limiting Baal, I do think that there has been lesser moments of Baal. Baal side though.
Flash away, they find Muchi. They have a nice little knockup with that Ruin Engine, and that should be enough. They get first blood, but here come the reinforcements. Waypit looking for the Raging Sea, actually finds Lan Feng, so they do get the return. The Ghost Ship locking into F1, but he flashes over the wall, and he should be fine, but Ball is still there dueling. He gets pushed on back. The charge is going to be real, but Ball continuing to fight, and here comes Gen Myth. They want the revenge on this, and Ball getting a little bit low, needs to be careful. He will survive, though.
Look at Kong Ling going for the aggressive take that does steal away Zankyu's Azure Golem. That's gonna hurt for a mana heavy user like a Jing.
no smite was used there, and they take it away, but Konglin taking the Tyrant as well. He's gotten the number of ZonQ, and now with this mirror domain, ZonQ looking to just kind of deal with him, but he needs to be careful because he's in a bad spot, and then now it looks like Xuan, he's going to be there with that ghost ship, but Genmith is going to die first. Waypit is so low himself, and it looks like Ball is going to be killed as well. Lanfeng not able to find Wendy. They don't get anyone from Nova.
Oh, look at the plays. I mean, from Sean, so confident on the white anchor as well. But like you mentioned here, blinking health bars on towards Waypit and also Muji, but it doesn't matter. They survive the fight and they allow more resources to go in towards pockets of Konglin. Look at the first item. That is a Pure Sky. Checking out the instant replay to break down what exactly happened here. Konglin wins the Smite War against ZonQ, pops a mirror domain, plays around in the middle of the fight. Waypit comes in, looks for a good Raging Sea on towards the side of Ball. Just so close. Genmith was able to find Waypit, but the damage just wasn't enough in towards the backline. Even though Lanfeng used the fatal arrow for the final shot, it doesn't catch on to Wendy. 2 blinking health bars, just didn't find the final blows.
Yeah, and one thing to take note of is that Xuan, with his ghost ship, was able to kind of separate the team into 2, where BIGETRON were fighting like very spread out, and they weren't able to kind of congregate together because of that divide, that ship just kind of making it so difficult for them to fight. So again, just a little bit of an impact. I mean, he didn't really get any of those kills, but he was able to separate them. But they do end up finding Genmith. The Raging Sea is going to be on point. The ghost ship says nay, at least to F1, stuck on this wall. He's going to be dove on and rowed down, and Lanfeng trying to do the damage onto Konglin, not able to find that pick, but 2 members down from BIGETRON yet again.
It's just a field day coming in for Nova Esports. Free access towards the Azure Golem, picking up 2 quick kills, and the Azure Golem free into the hands of the Nova members here. And Ball having to commit the flash, gets hit by the golden token, jumps away with the ultimate here, but that is all your mobility being expended, and you will still go down to the grave.
All right, good news for BIGETRON. It took a village to take him down, right? Ball, but he did eventually fall. But what value did, or what sort of, space usage is BIGETRON doing in that time, right? They needed to have farmed and to constantly push out the other lanes, put a little bit of pressure elsewhere because they're playing a defensive game. They are behind, and they need to find some sort of gap to get themselves back into this one. But Wendy getting a little bit low. He was silenced, and time lapse was on point, and now it looks like they've gotten the single kill onto their name in that sense, because BIGETRON right now are reeling. They need to find a couple more kills just to get back in this one.
Every single kill matters right now for startup BTR by Vitality. It really delays the game so that players like ZonQ, Ball, and also Lanfeng starts racking those items that they need for the ultra late game team fight here. Look at Kong's position.
Oh, they find him. They dive in. They try to go for Konglin. This is the great target, but he's got the shield. Oh, he's just way too much. He's under the tower. He turns it around, and he says, you want to go for me? Has the other shield, and Konglin with the outplay as he stays alive. And now Ball's in a bad spot. He dashes over the ghost ship. He's going to be chased. Wendy with that damage. The winning strategy's on. It's not enough to kill, but Nova Esports firing on all cylinders in this game.
Haze S2, Spriteling troops, Pure Sky, he's too tanky, you can't take him down. That is a disaster coming in for the side of BTR. If they could kill, get the shutdown on towards Konglin, that could be their momentum for ZonQ to get back in towards the game. But that is such a tanky pay that you're fighting against. Another one!
At this point, and now ZonQ is a little bit low himself. He needs to be careful. Xuan with that ghost ship separating him. And Lanfeng finally gets Konglin. He went all in to ensure he gets it, but he trades his life away. 2 members down from BIGETRON. The winning strategy is going to be taken by their brothers in that sense. The bottom T3 is under siege, but Nova Esports, they have the power play. They're up a man.
They're up a man, they're up 5,000 gold, and they are looking hungry for this bottom high ground here. Golden token landing on towards the face of Genmith here. Wendy playing super aggressive here. Does not have the winning strategy, but forces the members to back away from this high ground. 8 minutes, 40 seconds. First high ground of the game. Down for the side of BTR.
Yeah, space created there, right? I mean, Wendy was going aggressive to kind of just push them back, and then that created space for that mid T3. That is a gaping wound in the defense of BIGETRON right now, and now they need to find a way, and it looks like Ball, ghost ship, oh, he just barely gets over that one. That could have been disaster for him, but now he's going to stay alive, get back into that fountain.
Look at Lanfeng's position here. He's trying to go for a Hail Mary play, but gets spotted immediately by the side of Xuan. He has the flash, potentially can run away, has to use the Grandmaster's Forge to escape towards safety.
I mean, they're going to continue to just farm and just stay alive. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, they're down about 5K. It's not insurmountable, but this is going to be a tough one for BIGETRON to find a way to come back in, because Kong Lin, he's 4-1-4. You're seeing Xuan with his play. I mean, that ghost ship is very disruptive in terms of those team fights. I mean, Nova Esports right now, if they want to take those fights, it's going to be very tough for BIGETRON to really crack that nut.
I like this meta here, Caller. We don't really usually get to see picks like the Baichi or picks like the White Anchor. It's really a rare phenomenon. Zankyu does get spotted at the 10th minute mark here, has to back away from that bush here.
It looks like Wendy over the wall. He's going to be chased by Zankyu. Xuan is now going to be there. He actually has a nice little charge. Two-man stun. The F1 has to flash. Lanfeng is going to be picked off, and it looks like they're going to run them down. BIGETRON running, just trying to stay alive. Ball decides to turn it around to just go in, maybe deal with the minions, but he will be killed. Muchi with the double, and Nova Esports yet again with another good team fight.
Fortunately enough, BTR's jungler Zankyu does clean up the wave in towards the mid side curve. So as long as BTR manages to clear this upcoming wave in this tower, maybe, just maybe, they can stall the game even further slightly here. That's 2 minions in the final zone behind them.
Yeah, they got to deal with those 2 minions before then anything else. But the Raging Sea is on point. They find Gen Myth. That's the pickup that they wanted. Now Lanfeng just trying to deal with Xuan, who's just out-taking him. And now without Fountain, they're going to heal back up. Ball, maybe he's able to get some sort of catch. He's not able to find it onto Xuan. He gets stuck on the wall. Xuan is going to be chased, and he will get back with that dash. Looks like Nova Esports are looking to take the Crimson, taking the Boars, but here's the Mirror Domain. Nice taunt there. That's the one that they needed from Ball, but can they get any sort of catch? There's no damage, and Ball will fall. Lanfeng is a little bit low. Muchi doing some serious work. Zankyu gets picked off, and now Waypit is getting in on the action, and they trade away Muchi, but they've gotten 4 members. Nova Esports looking to close this game out, but here we go. Gen Myth, him versus the world versus all 4, and Nova says, I will take that to the bank. That's a team ace, and more importantly, they will take the crystal and they will take game number 4.
Closing out that we actually had. Back-to-back amazing games, even though you could say like, okay, it was 3-0, 3-1, 3-1, but you have to understand the storyline, right? Team HOK's improvement against Boom Esports was something to be proud of for a baby team. Is baby team the correct word? A debut team, right? Like a new team coming out from a fresh egg, joining HOK Esports with new players and old faces. And then they actually improved, although they lost. And then moving on towards the next series is about conquering fears. It's about Blackness International going up against their nightmare, which is the Ultimate Red, Nongxin Red Force. And finally, BTR in home crowd taking a convincing win, showing the maximum prowess and potential of the new BTR lineup. Things like this really shows why you need to watch HOK Esports.
Yeah, and this is why, I mean, after 3 days, we had a lot of questions going in. There was a lot of roster shakeups. How are teams going to be? Were they able to be the same level that they previously were, or are they going to be better? We've definitely gotten some answers, but we haven't figured everything out yet. I mean, I think that last series was pretty impressive by Nova Esports. I think like Kong Ling is definitely the real deal. He was just completely just able to control that series. They're going to be very strong even moving forward. But going back to those other two series, there was a lot of learnings. There was a lot of things that you talked about, and rightly so, as you kind of spelled out for everybody here.
Wait, I'm that smart? No way. You're not. Now you're just like you're putting words in my mouth.
No. I never said you were smart. Let's be very honest. Okay, I would never go that far.
Are you gaslighting me now?
I am gaslighting you, but I mean, one thing to take note of. I mean, let's look at this KDA here, right? Conlin 7-1-8, Muchi also 7-2-9, Juan was 2-0-9, and Waypit 2-1-16. Everybody, and I mean Wendy, of course, 0-1-9. This is a team that was firing on all cylinders, doing everything right. And BIGETRON again, they went to the drawing board. They tried to throw out this Bai Chi. It wasn't good enough. Jing completely shut down. They had a tough time playing against this Nova Esports lineup, and they were possessed.
I think they read the draft very well coming in for Sun Nova Esports. The moment that they pick Sunbin, they're like, oh, they're probably gonna do the Sunbin and also Baichi combination. So what really does well in towards it is probably something that is equally tanky, has a ton of sustain, and can mark the Baichi and also the enemy backline. So what does this spell? White Anchor, the ATA that's being selected by Nova's Xuan. Look at the amount of damage that he has tanked. 76,000 damage against the enemy team while also dealing sufficient damage up to a 58,000. You can say that 91,000 was dealt by Kong Ling. Mushi dealt a collective 106,000. That's because there is a Baichi plus a Sunbin to amp up the tankiness coming in from the BTR lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, going into this one, I was kind of like, oh, Ball's there. Like, he's been very impressive, all these things. How is he going to do against Xuan? And Xuan made him look very pedestrian, right? I think that they focused him. They ensured that he didn't have a really good game, as well as on Q. This has got to be a little bit worrying, because once Nova is like locked in with this strategy, now BIGETRON had to find a way to kind of counter that strategy. They need to kind of step up or change things up in a different way, and it didn't seem like they didn't really have any answers after that game one.
It's difficult, right? Where BTR, a team that's just freshly forged by this new environment, new players, new coaching staff, to be able to take one game out of a long-time team like Nova Esports is already pretty amazing. To them, winning one game is already an achievement. So moving forward is how they can maintain their game one form going into the playoffs against potential enemies like DMT, Kagendra, or even the likes of Blacklist International, right? Get that revenge story in, and then meet Nova again in the grand finals with a solid performance and a solid form.
Yeah. I think we're going to see, I mean, Nova, this is a team that's just like really finding their footing, right? They're going to be very high flying. They're very strong. I mean, they're just going to get better and better, right? Once they kind of completely gel with Kong Lin. I think that if anything, they can go to game one, do a little bit of research and figure out, like, look at the tape and see exactly what they did wrong and how BIGETRON were able to kind of solve some of those issues and shore those weaknesses up, right? Because that's what this is all about, finding those losses and turning them into lessons, and then going in and just becoming out much, much stronger. And if Nova were to get stronger, it's going to be scary for the other teams.
I have a sudden realization. What if Nova losing game one was the coach saying that, hey, I'm going to draft this, you got to play it, and if you lose, I don't want you to tilt for the upcoming 3 games. If not, you can't conquer your fear, which is HBSC.
I think that it's something that they could consider, right? I mean, it's definitely like, I think also game one is like a classic Nova Esports lineup, right? I think that they will always play this lineup. Like game one, and then just be like, oh, can anyone beat us? Let's go. Like, just constantly just putting it out there. You're not showing any of your strategy, all the cards and the things that you might have, and then let them beat you. And BIGETRON did. They were prepared, right, for that game one. But Waypit, on the other hand, he's going to be the MVP of this one. He had some serious impact on this Refart Datu with the Lapu Lapu. 2-1-16. The amount of control he had really set things up for this game.
I think he put on a show on this Lapu Lapu here. Multiple engages on towards multiple members with the Raging Sea Flash. And a lot of times, he was like blinking low with the health bar, but he still managed to survive and shock the world with his engager. Take a look at this early game teamfight with an equal goal lead here. We see the fact that Gem Myth came in with a beautiful root engine on towards Waypit and also Tong Ling, but see how Waypit managed to survive and still provide value in the teamfight. These are moments of why roamers actually matter.
Yeah. I mean, as a former roamer myself, I wish, you know, people were a little bit more appreciative then, but this is that highlight reel. Kongley just barely staying alive, his skill 2, just enough to just be there. I mean, he had everything, and diving onto that tower, BIGETRON threw everything in the kitchen sink to kind of deal with him, and they finally do end up getting on that kill, but at what cost, especially since Lanfeng had gone down?
It's okay. You need to do whatever it takes to get back kills in desperate situations like this. And for me, to be able to fight and to be able to consistently try your best to find a lead towards back the game, it's honorable. Is it the best decision? Maybe not the best decision, but you're forced into a position by Nova because of how much gold they have on towards you.
Okay. Yeah. I think going into this one, I think that that's something that they'll have to look into, right? Just kind of how they want to play this one out. But an impressive game. I mean, BIGETRON really brought it. I think that, you know, if you're a fan of Big